All eyes on Green Bay, and understandably so. Spent a lot of time in the first hour talking about Green Bay. And I want to spend a little time about Washington because they were a great story last year. And yes, I've told you many times, I wasn't buying into them this year because I did look at last year and they were pulling out a lot of these games. And a good portion of their win total was, I'm not saying fluky, but I'm just saying that last second, things went right for them. And I thought they were going to regress just a little bit. When we had Nick Wright on yesterday, Nick Wright was talking about it feels like every year there's 4 or 5 teams from the previous year that we go, they're going to be in contention to win a Super Bowl. But there's always one of those 5 or 6 teams that falls out. Something happens. Philadelphia, they won a Super Bowl, lost a couple of coordinators, and then they dip down. You see those teams after success, they lose coordinators, maybe lose a couple players, they dip down a little bit. And I'm looking at the Commanders, and while I think they're a playoff team, I don't think they're going to be that NFC title team. Detroit may take a step down. They lost both of their coordinators. We saw that very vanilla offense against Green Bay, and Green Bay a much better team than Detroit that first week. There's going to be a couple of teams that you go, I never saw that coming. It happens every single year. That's the guesswork of, is Tampa going to be in the NFC title game? And you might be thinking, are they that good? Well, if you get home field advantage, let's say you get 11 wins, now all of a sudden they're coming into Tampa. Now all of a sudden they can become an NFC championship caliber team. Detroit, that's a tough division, or at least we think it's going to be. Maybe Chicago doesn't take that step up with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Minnesota basically has a rookie quarterback. Are they going to be close to what they were last year? You're just now Green Bay looks like the class of the division, and they might be that. And the NFC title game could go through Lambeau with everything that we saw last night. The Commanders lost Austin Eckler, and he's one of those you don't realize sometimes, and then you watch, and then you go, oh, okay, that's why they got him. But they traded away Brian Robinson in the offseason, and now you lose Austin Eckler, looks like for the season. See, these are just the little things that happen, and then all of a sudden you're trying to fill a spot. You take a step back. You start out 1-3. Now all of a sudden, you're trying to figure out who you are. And I still think with Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, I don't know if you can count on Deebo Samuel to be, as good as he was in week 1. But you're not going to go up against a defense like Green Bay very often. What's the schedule for the Commanders?
Commanders host the Raiders, at the Falcons, at the Chargers, host the Bears, at the Cowboys, at the Chiefs. That's their first half.
Okay, that's not easy sledding there. You could have 2 or 3 more losses in there. And we love to handicap, and we go, well, that's a win, and that's a loss, and that's a win. I mean, how many times are we surprised every single weekend where you go, man, I didn't think Jets were going to beat the Bills. These things happen. Matchups, sometimes you don't look at it, or we don't have the educated eye to look at it, and you go, well, that's why they won. But you're going to have surprises here. And you're going to have a team that's in the playoffs, and you're going to go, how did they get there? And you're going to have a team that doesn't make the playoffs, where you go, how did they not make it? Every single year it happens.